Hello, Daisy Cakes. This is Daisy X Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me where I get into drag uh, to film a video later today. Hopefully 2 videos. Lori can't be here. Thank you for popping in, Lori. Sorry you can't be here. John Crow is here. Tim is here. Lynette is here. Full house. And as usual, how is your reading going this week or the past 2 weeks? Because I wasn't here last week. And by the way, I probably won't be here the first 2 Saturdays in November because November 1st is my husband's birthday, and we're going to spend the day together. And then the following weekend, my best friend Sean, who you may have heard me talk about, is coming over with his husband. So we're going to hang out that weekend. So anyway, I have to talk about my reading. I picked up Alchemized by, I forgot the author's name, one word author name, Senlin Yu, for Shelve It or Shove It. And it's a hefty book. It's like 1,000 pages. And I got through part 1, which is somewhere around 250, 300 pages. And I am probably going to DNF it. I haven't decided yet. I definitely put it down. The reason being, it's about this woman who wakes up with half her memories missing. And she wakes up as a prisoner in this very dark fantasy world that she's a part of course, run by the High Necromancer. And she was apparently a healer in this religious kingdom type situation that was overthrown by the High Necromancer, but she lost half of her memory. So she is given over to the next in command, the High Reeve, something like that. And I forget the character's name. Anyway, she's basically tortured. This High Reeve, or this second in command, goes into her mind to try to figure out to erase the blocks to her memory or something like that. And it's written almost like an assault. Okay. So she's being tortured by this guy, basically. And her inner being is being ravaged. So, I'm into the book so far. So I'm reading, and it's a long book, so it's taking me a while to get there. And suddenly I'm like, is she falling in love with her torturer? Is this going to be one of those books? And yes, it's one of those books. So we get to the point where the torturer, let's call him, saves her from being actually sexually assaulted. So he's like the savior. So her feelings, develop. And then the High Necromancer decides she needs to be put in a breeding program where she would have to breed with these strangers unless the torturer can get her pregnant. So it's almost like they're both being sexually assaulted because they're forced to have sex together, and the torturer throws up afterwards, to show that he really didn't like having to do this. So anyway, so that's part 1. Part 2 is I believe it's going to be like 500 pages of flashback so we see what happened up to the point where she loses her memory. And the only way I think this book can develop to forgive forgive the torturer. Is that what I think is going to happen? I don't know this. I haven't looked up any spoilers, but what I think is going to happen if I was a writer, which I would never be for this type of book, but I think we're going to find out that they're going to fall in. This is going to be like their love story. And then at the end, she has to lose her memories. And so when we flash back forward, the torturer was like, actually, they were like in love before. And maybe she might say something like, you have to do this to me, whatever it takes once I lose my memory. So he's like forced to be. That's what I think is going to happen in the third part. It's a 3 parts. And what I'm hoping happens in the third part is that she doesn't forgive him. She won't forgive the torturing. And it's sort of a bittersweet tragedy. That's my preference. What I think is going to happen is that she's going to forgive him, no matter what she said to. I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting of sort of imagining how I think the book is going to go, and I'm kind of curious, but it's going to take. It's a 1,000-page book. It's going to take me like 700 pages to find out what how this book is going to end, and I'm not going to be happy if it's going to go the way I think it's going to go. And because it's well written, it's paced well. I just don't like this relationship. I really don't. And this book has been getting a lot of buzz, and I saw something that just blew me away. This author, this is a debut novel, and this author got a 7-figure movie deal. And I'm like, this is going to be a movie? Yipes. I don't know. Just me. Okay. Oh, I'm missing a lot of stuff here. Okay, let's go through this quick. Lynette, is cold and windy. Lynette finished 4 books, including one about Flint water crisis. Ooh. Tim finished The Cabinet, The End of the World. Love the title. Tried reading A Lush and Seething Hell, but couldn't get into it. DK is here. Hey, DK Moon. Tim is currently reading The Inspection, which is hard to put down. Also reading The Demons of King Solomon, which is an anthology. Also finished The Southern Vampire's Guide to Slaying. Also Remnant Population by Elizabeth. Oh, I like Elizabeth Moon. Old woman decides to stay behind when the company decided to close down the planet she has lived in for 40 years. Was excellent. Was that the Southern Vampires Club? Is that the one that Grady Hendrix, is he the author? Started People of the Black Circle by Robert E. Howard. After they gone, she meets the intelligent indigenous life forms that no one knew existed. Oh, interesting. It sounds good. Alchemist started off as Harry Potter fan fiction. Yeah, and you know what? I actually knew that because I was it in the blurb, but I decided, when I was reading this, I got through part 1, I was like, am I crazy? Is this an awful book? Because of this relationship that you fall in love with your torturer. So I went on to Goodreads and I just sort of browsed the to see if because there's a lot of very high reviews, and I did see it was started off as a Draco Hermione fan fiction. Finished Will of the Many, pretty good. Elizabeth Moon, she's a good author. Elizabeth Moon, she wrote it in 1996. You can forgive torture when you realize the guy is actually a good guy. Yeah, that's basically what I think it is. Says you put the author's name earlier. Okay, so anyway, so I put that book down because I just couldn't go on with it. And I started reading an author tuber, a book, The Potion Makers, because it sounded interesting. And Lydia Foxglove is the author, and it was like this fantasy and the world building. She said it was set in the 1960s, sort of the mod. And I kind of forced myself to read the whole thing. And it was, I think it's a romantasy. It's basically a romantasy, and I didn't really appreciate it. Um, Not really for me. But what disappointed me most was it didn't feel like the '60s, you know? I thought it was going to be, sort of the radical '60s, sort of the subculture, um, flower children, that type of thing. And the only thing about it that felt '60s was the clothing, and the fantasy style of writing didn't feel like it belonged to that period. So, very disappointed in that. Will not be picking up anything else by her. So I needed a cleanser. I needed a palate cleanser. So of course I got a Matt Dinniman Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm now on book 4, and I just needed something to pick me up after these disappointing reads. So love it. Shadow of the Torturer. Is that the Gene Wolfe? Is that Gene Wolfe? 'Cause I like that, but it's been a while since I read it. Okay, so let's get on some makeup. I was going to do purple. I was gonna try like a peacock with purple and blue, purple to blue. I might try some turquoise. I'm a little leery on going too green because green screen. So uh part of his trilogy. So I want to do blue, no, purple. Let's go turn this on. Purple, blue. Mm. Yeah, I just can't believe it's gonna be a movie. I assume it's gonna be made because if someone paid $1,000,000 just for the rights, which, by the way, authors usually don't get that much. Oh, and I was in a writing retreat, um, last weekend. It's like 5 days or 4 days, 5 days. And, it was in my writing group where there's 5 of us. 4 of us were at this retreat, and it was in Canada, which I've never been to before, at least never stayed in. It was in Alberta, Calgary, and it snowed, which someone who lives in Vegas, I wasn't expecting. I'm now reading The Store by Bentley Little, horror about an evil mega store opening up in a small town. I actually kinda love that. Love the premise. I don't know who Bentley Little is, but when screenwriters get through with the screenplay, it's usually so different from the book. I'd hate that as a writer. Yeah, I had a really good time. I did some writing. We did a lot of hiking. It was good. I don't really have the proper clothes, but it kind of snowed like overnight, and then the next day the mountains went from being brown to white, and then it kind of melted. It was like in the 40s Fahrenheit, so it wasn't bad. But no, if it was really cold, I did not have the right clothing. Well, it was mostly thank you, DK. It was mostly just to meet with the other people too, because we've been together for like I think 3 years now, 4 years, 3 years. Um, and we meet like twice a month on Zoom, and it's kind of nice to, meet the people you've been talking to, and we like text each other uh, almost every day. We text each other a lot. Okay. Kind of wish this blue was darker. I have this. Okay, maybe that works. Okay. Second horror read for October is William by Mason Coley. Daisy shoved his book Exiles and Shove It or Shove It. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember Exiles was that brownish cover. Yeah, it wasn't great, the cover. But yeah, I assume it's science fiction horror. When Rose and I visited Scotland, it started snowing around midnight. Rose dragged me out of the house because she had never seen it or felt it. Oh, great, John. I love snow. Feels magical. I like snow to visit. I don't like living in it. In Maryland, I lived in Western Maryland. It snowed all the time, and you had to shovel it and scrape ice off the windows, and your feet and hands got numb when it was really cold. That's great. Wish I had a picture of her dancing around town. Never seen snow in my neighborhood in decades. Okay, so I want to do a turquoise. Look around. I have this one, but it's kind of shiny. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to go for this green, but maybe mix blue in. Oh, actually, I think that's fine. Yeah, green and green screen, if it's like on makeup or jewelry or clothes, turns gray. So that's why I don't want too much of it. Okay. It's white. It's going to be a bad winter in some states. Ooh, we had 2 people killed when they were hit by a falling tree in the high winds. Wow. Stayed inside for 2 days because I hate windy days. Similar reason I don't like horses. Having to shovel the stalls. Dead rain. Also love the wind, but my cat hate it. Well, it depends on the wind. I mean, we always get these wind warnings in Vegas. Speaking of which, we went to see the Gay Pride parade yesterday in San Francisco. It was supposed to be on Friday night. Well, obviously that's yesterday. And it was rained out. Rained out. So I'm going to put in the eyeliner. Okay. Antarctica warmed up more than usual, so the weather system became more unstable, which meant more cold air was blasted up to Tasmania. Yikes. That this year? I hate the wind if I'm trying to read a book outside. Well, yeah. I also like to, write outside, and that's wind kind of ruins that attempt. Okay. And do- Oops, I forgot. Okay. Rico is here. Just finishing up a Stephen Baxter reading odyssey. Got any suggestions of another larger sci-fi series I can get into? Sci-fi series. Hmm. Well, I love The Expanse. Um, Tell me you didn't read all the Stephen Baxter books. Oops. Just looking up. Oh, I was thinking of something else. Did I recommend Stephen Baxter? Okay. Anyway, science fiction books, series, Expanse. Of course, there's the old Foundation. I mean, if we want to go old school, I love one of my favorites is the Ringworld series by Larry Niven. Also, I'm quite fond of Frederick Pohl's uh, Gateway series. I think there's 3 books. He might have done more, but sometimes I just stick with the first 3 because sometimes the 4th books they like plan a trilogy and then if they're successful they just add on another book that sometimes is a disappointment. But Gateway, Beyond the Blue Event Horizon, Hichi Rendezvous, I believe are the 3. Oh, and if you like aliens, the Uplift War series by David Brin is excellent. And of course, I also like Anne McCaffrey. But the Uplift War has some of the best aliens ever. And I kind of like it because the humans are part of this galactic, I won't call it a federation, but this galactic society of aliens, but humans are kind of like low on the totem pole. So it's not because so many times we read series where the humans are like the top of the food chain, but in the Uplift Wars, they're at the bottom. My new neighbors are too noisy for me to write outside. I read those. Maybe I'm just getting grumpy as I age. Well, I also wear earphones too and listen to music so I don't hear when I write. Pick an author and just read and listen to all of their works. Wow. Everything I get hold of. Yeah, sometimes that burns me out. I like switching it around. I don't think of it as getting grumpy. I think it is being more free to express what I'm feeling. Loved Ringworld. Started a new series, but it is a mystery series set in Regency, England. You've read The Heat Cheese. I've read so much at this point. Yeah. Read Frank Herbert's Dune. See, that's the other one. I loved the first 3 Dune books, but then, I read God Emperor of Dune, and I was like, "I'm done. That's enough." You read The Uplift in all of Brit's other books as well. Um, haven't read many SF series to have any must-read recommendations. Bobiver oh, that's a good one. That's another contemporary one, Rico, that, I think you'd like if you liked, some of those other series. Multiple times, talking about Dune. I think The Expanse is new for me. I love The Expanse. You haven't heard of Bobiverse? Look that one up. Just get the first one. You won't be sorry. I read the first 3, I believe. I don't remember if I read the 4th one. I think the first one was the complete story arc. Okay, so I wanna cut my crease, but I think I'm just doing thinking about doing silver, but maybe I'll do I have Wilma Finger Days thing. I might do hmm, actually, maybe I won't. Okay, I'm gonna do this turquoisey. It's not too green. I don't think it's too green. Famous last words. Landry series by Paul Anderson. I haven't read that much Paul Anderson. Was good, but I only read 2 of the books. Ender's Game is terrific. I don't like the author as a person, but 'cause he's very anti-gay, but, that doesn't come across in the, Ender's Game books, and they're fantastic. I won't say they're not. The trilogy were the best, 5 out of 5. 4th book, 4 out of 5, and 5th book, 4.5 out of 5. We're talking about Bobiverse. Look up Bobiverse, Rico. You won't be sorry. Um, how could I forget about Adrian Tchaikovsky? He's another contemporary writer. Um, excellent writer. But his Final Architect series, fantastic in my opinion. Okay, that didn't kind of mess that up. I don't know if you like military science fiction, but the Honor Harrington series is really good up to a point. I don't like his later books, but And it's David Weber. And I know military sci-fi isn't for everyone. Okay, I think I'm going to dust this. Purple. Oh, you've read a bunch of Tarkovsky? Oh, the Children of Time series and the Void series. Really tried to enjoy Honor Harrington. I ended up rooting against the main character. Oh, but she has a cat. She has a tree cat. Well, like I said, it's not for everyone, which is fine. So I hope you pop back next week and let us know if you've tried any of the Bobiverse books or the Expanse. And the fun thing about the Expanse is it was a series, became a series that I thought was pretty good. It started on the Sci-Fi Channel, and okay, going to her cat is the Carl is yeah. If you haven't read Dungeon Crawler Carl, it's it's lit RPG. It definitely has a fantasy feel to it, but the actual setting is science fiction. Couple more months to finish Bacter, but I'll definitely update you when I have one. Alrighty. Light of Days Evolution in Zeely sequence. Kind of SF, and I would recommend that. It's such a fun book. Okay. Um, I have to use my fingers. Oh, this is gets into the wrong thing. I feel like I didn't get. Sorry about this. I keep changing my mind. Okay. That looks funny. I'll check it out. I've had more fun reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. I mean, it's going to call it DCC than anything else the last couple of years. Speaking of expense, have you ever read Ben Bova's hard sci-fi series, The Grand Tour? No, I haven't. I've not read that. It's been a decade since I've read it. Yeah, a lot of those old writers didn't write that many series. Okay. Actually, I was thinking, should I spoil something that I'm going to film today, and why not? Because probably not going to remember it. But Hal Clement, do I have it? Golden Age science fiction writer. Mission of Gravity. I think this is a series. He wrote a couple. This is a standalone. I'm not sure if they're all standalones. They probably are, but he wrote a couple of more novels set in this mescaline universe, our world, where the gravity is too much on the planet for humans to exist, so they have to work with the natives of the planet, which is a really interesting alien. Oh, excuse me. I'm thinking of old books now, but there's another one. I got it as an omnibus back in probably the 70s, called the Damu trilogy. I forget what the first actual book is called. I did it in my top 100 sci-fi writers. Busby is the name. But the premise is this alien species who are ultra religious, um, evangelical race who believe that they were created in the image of the creator, the image of God. So their mission when they find other sentient races is to, excuse me, transform them into the image of the Demu. And they look like big lobsters. So, and they're, the way they do it is through surgery, cosmetic surgery. So humans don't fare that well. Oh, and thinking of older authors, Harry Harrison's Death World series is really good. And you may have read all those. Oh, the Faded Sun trilogy. Is that by who is that? That's CJ Cherry? Oh, that's another one. CJ Cherry. I love the Cytine trilogy. It's not for everyone because it's not the science and the science fiction is more like psychology than anything else. But I really enjoyed that. And I love her a lot of her series set in the Alliance Union universe, Shanur books. I like Bova because he was pretty hard, and that's kind of rare these days. No aliens or advanced tech, just humans using plausible technology to explore the solar system. I am telling you, you won't find a harder science fiction writer than Hal Clement. He's a he had a degree in astronomy and I think education and chemistry, maybe, or maybe just astronomy or physics. I'm making things up now. Definitely astronomy. But the last chapter, this isn't a chapter, the what they're calling an afterword was actually an article in the 1953 issue of Astounding that it's just the science behind the world where he has like he explains everything of how it works and the orbit around these two suns, and it's kind of interesting. The science is a little over my head, honestly, but I trust that he knows what he's talking about. Classify the Bobiverse books, and I know it sounds kind of cheesy and corny, but it's not. It's there's a little bit of humor, but it's not what you might expect from the title. But I would consider that hard science fiction. And of course, there's Werner Vinge, who wrote Fire Upon the Deep, another great alien species. If you haven't read it, I would just pick it up and not read anything because it's kind of a treat to see how the aliens, came about. Oh, read a few of Ben Bova's Grand Tour books, the first Martian one, the Venus one, a couple others. Mars is how I was introduced to it. Always thought it a strange coincidence that nearly every Star Trek world had the same gravity. Greg Egan is said to be hard science, but I haven't read him. I haven't read him either. Budget considerations. Yeah. I mean, the whole teleporter was budget considerations. Oh, let's magically teleport them to the planet rather than using shuttles and whatnot. Love Werner Vinge. One of my favorite sci-fi books is Fire. Yep, Fire Upon the Deep. Also read his books about UCSD and then ended up going to UCSD. I don't know that one. There's a Deep Space Nine episode that depicted low gravity Federation officer and her problems. They actually go through that in The Expanse. The humans that grew up in the outer rim have trouble in Earth's gravity because they grew up in LG, no gravity. Okay, so do I want to... Let's brush away the bake. I don't know what to do under the eyes. Could just do... I'm just going to do purple. Or I could... No, I'm just going to... I'm not going to try anything crazy. Famous last words. Oh, Rainbow's End. Yeah, I read that. Wasn't my favorite of the Vinci books. Mooney is here. Hey, can't join today, but have a great time. Thank you for popping in, Mooney. Also very prophetic because in the book he writes about technology companies sending bots to and to ingest the books at the UCSD Iconic Library called Geisel, or to process the books into a digital form. They have to be literally destroy the books. And that's exactly what AI companies are doing. Yep. The trailer for Night of the Seven Kingdoms has been released. Oh, I don't know that one. Okay, I'm going to... And not going to lie, a bit hyped about that. Casting looks good for two main characters set in Westeros. Yeah, it's fleshing out the history of the Seven Kingdoms, like fire and ice. I'm more concerned about how good Lionel Baratheon is going to be. I don't think I know that much about anything beyond the original Fire and Ice trilogy because I didn't read the prequel or the. Okay. I think I've said before I don't really like reading prequels, but I did enjoy the forgot the series, the prequel to Game of Thrones that has been released about the queen. What's her face? Terrible. He was my favorite character in the novellas. Short stories he wrote about the Hedge Knights. Set between Dance of the Dragons and Event of Game of Thrones. Well, Lynette and Rico are up on this. Okay, I'm going to do lips, and then I think we're done on lashes. Don't let me forget the lashes. Okay. Just wondering if I should do purple lips. I'm going to do red. I just like red. Yes, thank you. Thank you, DK. Okay. Maybe I will do purple. Now that I'm looking, Going to. And sorry about that. I'm just changing my mind every 5 seconds. Okay. Audio dropped. Yeah, I'm probably, hopefully you can hear me now. I was kind of mumbling to myself. I'm not keen on House of the Dragon. I enjoyed it for what it is. I still can't get over they canceled Wheel of Time just as it got good, but are keeping on Rings of Power, which I'm a little bit ambivalent about. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I thought all the actors were good. I like the storyline of the old king sort of barely holding things together, um, and suffering from that. The what's it called? Stone skin, stone rot, whatever that disease is. Then how hard it crumbles. The kingdom crumbles when he dies. Although I'm not crazy about the whenever a plot revolves around a misunderstanding. Like his wife misunderstanding his last words. I've been liking the Hulu Alien series, but I think I've missed the last couple. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. Okay. So this is the final look. Oh, and I have the, wonder if I can get, oh, this one. Not that keen on dragons. I have to cut back on some of my streaming channels. Thank you, Tim. I have no streaming service. Watch enough YouTube. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Well, let's put on some jewelry. Oh, what are the strings I'm pulling? It's called face tape. Yes, thank you. It's to pull your skin. And I've just been using it the last couple of weeks. But I like the way it looks. I just see other drag queens using it. I was like, I should try that. But for older, but young queens use it too, to sort of pull their face. Kind of the poor person's facelift. And this is the wig I got. I really hope the green screen doesn't ruin the side look because I do like it. The final, look at this. The final look. Uh, hope you like the wig. We could all use face strings. Thank you, John. Thank you, DK. A little bit of green on that dress. Is there? Yeah, I guess there is. Well, this is mostly just to put on makeup. And of course, thank you, Lynette, for being here as always. And I should be back next week. Like I said, I will probably be gone the first 2 Saturdays of November, but that means I'll be here the next 2 weeks. Actually, next week is Gay Pride. There's a little festival in Las Vegas. They don't have it during the month of June because it's too hot here to really do parades and to do events. So I still plan on being here, but I may go out and drag for Gay Pride. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining as always. And as usual, may all the books you read be blessed.